Happy Tuesday, 15 November 2022, coming at you from City of Shoreline, Washington State, United States of America. This used to be my sister's room. It has since kind of been, not really converted, it's still the same room. There's a new bed in here and stuff, like a real bed. It's like a double bed or a queen bed or something like that. And then I can show you. So this is new. I've filmed in here before, and not quite in this setup. I've done a movie list in here and then some dream repertoire stuff in here. And it's kind of been converted into usage. Maybe that's what my mom will use it for. She does a bunch of reading for church. So I call it kind of the prayer room. Or she would use it when she was going through therapy, kind of for therapy prep or her therapy sessions. And we use it, so we had cousins from Minnesota come, and so a couple stayed in here. A couple of them stayed in here. So, who were a couple, married, Kimber and Nancy. And so, yeah. But it's a multi-use room currently. Yeah. I'm still ready for my sister if she moves back in, kind of thing. Today's update for the COVID-19 pandemic is I am working on a new article as part of my pandemic pit crew writing and publishing work on Wikipedia. And the article I am writing on, I have been struggling with writing block for this article. And or writer's block, I guess is what it's technically called. And some people don't really believe it exists. For me, it exists. However, it is not a common occurrence. So I've written and published approximately 95 new articles on Wikipedia. And for approximately 5 to 10% of those, I have encountered some form of writer's block. Now, writer's block for me is not, it's mental, but it's also physical. What ends up happening is there's some sort of mental block I need to overcome. Sometimes it's a really easy fix, and sometimes it's not. And this is one of the cases where it's not. But I have learned to be able to categorize it into, there's the easy to deal with writer's block and the not so easy to deal with writer's block. For both cases, I actually get, so mentally, it's like something's wrong. I'm missing something, or I need to put something down that I might forget. That is the easy case, is there tends to be like one sentence or one reference that I'm forgetting and I remember and I put it down, and then the words just flow, the article just flows, and it's no problem. But I have to remember that one thing that I'm missing, forgetting. And so the easy kind tends to be correlated with like just stuff like that. The harder case, and that's the one I'm dealing with now, is, so I'm working on an article for Florine Gaspard, who is a female Belgian swimmer. She swims breaststroke. And her article is hard. Usually, so the hard type of writer's block for me happens when there is a contextual change in the article. So I started on this article a few months ago. And since I started on the article, something in the world of swimming has changed that affects the stroke of breaststroke. So breaststroke is, by the rules, feet are supposed to be in a horizontal plane at the same time. What the governing body, the world governing for aquatic sports, said is that's no longer a rule. We're getting rid of that rule. The new rule is you can do non-horizontal movements, if I'm recalling correctly. So essentially, horizontal plane means flat. So a non-horizontal movement could be a butterfly kick. A non-horizontal movement could be like, it's called a scissor kick, where you do the breaststroke kick, but the feet come out of plane and then come back together. So you can now do scissor kicks in breaststroke, and it's entirely legal, and it's actually written into the rules that you can do that by allowing for the non-horizontal plane movement. And she is a clean breaststroker in the sense of she does the clean kick of horizontal. So before the rule change, if somebody did a dolphin kick or a scissor kick, they would be disqualified. Now it's allowed, and it's actually a rule. That's allowed. So I think as someone who used to swim classic breaststroke, some people who swim classic breaststroke, I have a video on this on my channel. It's Liesl Jones and Lydia Jacoby. It's not a Jonesian stroke, it's the legal classical, like if you're swimming the stroke right, it should look like that. So it's erroneous to say a Jonesian stroke. It's just the literal how breaststroke is supposed to be swam, kind of thing. But a lot of people have really sloppy strokes, kind of thing. Especially at the high level, not so much at lower level competition, which is what I did. And so when I saw that, it largely stemmed from female swimmers in Italy, in America, who got disqualified at like high profile events. And so it was in the American kind of female threw a hissy fit of this should be allowed, blah 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 blah. So she got her disqualification overturned, and then it rolled out to everybody of, okay, now since this American threw a hissy fit and this other Italian got disqualified, we're just going to make all of you subjected to this rule about how your bodies should move without their consent, which is always kind of like a no-no, especially since there are people like Florian Gaspard who choose the clean stroke. So there's a degradation in quality there. So there's concern. So, and this has happened since I started writing the page. So I'm writing the page and I'm going, am I timing the writing of this article correctly? There's World Championships coming up. Someone could beat me to it, right? It's taken me a few months. There have been I have the list of articles I have started and somebody has published before me. So I don't get, because on Wikipedia there's only one page per person, one biography page per person. So I don't get them, and that list is growing. So I've kind of like in cricket timed out dismissal. I have not gotten a fair amount of pages because I've taken too long. And that list is growing. Like I think it doubled this year in length. So like there's the possibility I could not get the page. And so that's the kind of deadline is a lot of swimmers get snatched up around World Championships or European, like continental championships time. So, and there's kind of a lull in competition right now. So if I want to get the article, it's a good time to write the article. However, how is this person handling this rule change? All right. Kind of thing. 1, 2, the Belgian swimmers, they're a unique group. I have one article for a Belgian swimmer. She got attacked by the American press. So like she was a finalist and then the next year she won the gold medal kind of thing. And then they were like, it's an upset win. And I'm like, an upset win would be somebody who didn't even compete in the competition last year and then comes to the competition and wins. And like, because they didn't even qualify, not somebody who was in a final. So there's just a bit of, the American press can be very disconnected and tuned out from the international competition scene, and that's reflected in how they treat Belgians. So Belgians are a huge blind spot of the American press, and specifically the American-based swimming press. And what that usually results in is mistreatment of Belgian swimmers by the American press. Case in point, I made an article for Roos van Aarderdijke, and she has been mistreated by the American-based swimming press this year pretty substantially. So I just don't include those publishers on her article whatsoever. She's a big star anyway, so, but I don't know how, publishing and her articles are in Dutch and German, like the articles that write about her, a lot of them, so it pushes me. So there's that component too, that can, it's not, I wouldn't necessarily call that writer's block so much as writer's slowdown. If I'm reading articles in a language I don't know and there's zero Google Translate, like Croatian and Serbian, there's like this article is going to take longer. That's just the reality, because I don't know these languages, and so I'm learning through exposure, kind of thing. So I would say there's writer's block, which is like, for me, a stop in writing. However, I did already start writing, so it could, I've figured out a way around like the initial writer's block of I can't get started on this page. I've figured out tricks to get around that one. So now I'm working on the writer's block of I've started this page, I need to continue and finish the page. So this falls into that category of type of writer's block. So it's yeah. So that's what today is. This is my pandemic update, is working on this page and working around figuring out how to get through this writer's block. So my approach for the day is I've taken chunks of writing that are smaller in quantity than I normally do as like a writing task. I've taken and I've broken down the article into much smaller pieces. And so I'm just like, and I've like 5 really small pieces, and I'm like, today I want to get those 5 really small pieces done. In the past, that might have been all like one, maybe those 5 tasks would have been 1 to 3 tasks, but now I'm breaking them into 5 because I need to get the article done. And those little things, when nothing's coming out, sometimes just breaking things into smaller chunks results in the thing getting out. Speaking from experience, so I have 5 to 10% of my articles have been through this process, be it the hard or the easy type. So I know I can. It's just 5 to 10% I would say is uncommon for my experience. It's not the normal mode, so to speak. I mean, I had 15 to 20% of my swimmer articles affected by the Russian bans, and that came with writer's block too, right? It all kind of unfolded, and I was like, how, I can't just not put this on my articles pages, right? Like, because I get put in a depression state of, you know, the first comment I'm going to get about these pages if I don't put it on the page, what did they do in 2022? Why did they take a break? They didn't take a break. They were banned. So for those people who are just like super tuned out, or they have a life, and they're like, wait, what happened to 2022? Just put the ban on the page. But it took me like, it took me like 7 months-ish to figure out how to phrase it and how to put it down, and just to try and put it down, and that it doesn't have to be the same on every page. It took me a while. So sometimes big ticket items like that, so to speak, they take a while just to figure out what the heck, how to phrase it neutrally, I guess is a way of putting it. So that is my update today, working on a new article and overcoming writer's block.